pool about how many cuss words I'd say. I've got distinct orders that at least 2 of those words cannot be used. I'll do my best, I promise. First of all, before we get started, I intend this to be fun. You guys in the back seat are not going to always have the crappy seats because I'm fixing to come back here and sit and talk and look at the screen with you. But I think I'd be remiss if I didn't start out like Jamie and thanking everybody. I mean, you know, I'm not going to use that economic development's a team sport, okay? I'm not going to use that one. I'm also not going to use, you know, economic development's all about relationships. You know, I'm not going to use those phrases because while they may be true somewhat, I think they get overused. But I do think it's important that everybody understands that one person, one organization, one group doesn't do a deal like this. It doesn't happen, okay? MDA, invaluable. I mean, ideas, money, support, teamwork, the whole package that we just kind of, at the end of the day, put TBA, MDA, and the link. You didn't know. I mean, you would have never known it wasn't one organization. You do this, you do this. Everybody took some of the heavy lifting and really made it possible. Everybody brought ideas to the table, and everybody's ideas really made a difference. So that's important to know. It's not your deal. It's not their deal. It's together it's your deal. Before we get started, I brought most of my staff here today because I wanted them to be a part of this because they work nights, weekends, everything else on this deal. So I'm going to ask them, I'm going to recognize them and stay around, just turn around and let everybody see who you are. Chelsea Thompson, a.k.a. Checky at the office. Mallory Thompson, hence the Thompson twins, Mau. Jennifer Pridmore, goes by JP. Brenda, for years has been B, okay? For years has been B. Now the girls have nicknamed her Ninja. They said when you watch her do a proposal, woo, you know, she starts doing that ninja thing. Ron Maloney, Rondo. Joey Deason's up in his room, not hungover, he may be hungover, but he's up in his room on a conference call with the Yokohama folks on off-site rail. He'll be in a little bit. Also not here on our team is Macaulay Whitaker. She's at Chamber School, and she's a big part of our deal. I call her Mac. And then we got another Mac that's not here, who works for us, a little guy named Malcolm Patera. Some of y'all will know Malcolm Patera from his days at Mississippi State. So want to make sure that I recognize them. Also, I'm not just going to talk about Yokohama if it's okay. I think you know, I was visiting Stone County. I don't really know a lot about what's going on in Stone County. Y'all may not know what's going on in Starkville or Kittihaw County. Y'all might not know what's going on in Lowndes County. You might read here, hear something, a little bit here, a little bit there, but that's about it. So I thought it'd be good if we could kind of start off by just kind of setting the plate. Now, I'm not doing this to say, looky what we've done. I'm doing this so hopefully you'll say, it's doable, okay? Because how many of you, this is interactive, how many of you 10 years ago had a positive image of Columbus and Lowndes County? Please raise your hand. 1 in the back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What were they?
Main Street.
What were they?
Columbus Main Street.
That's how you knew them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not anything in economic development. Not anything really Chamber of Commerce, but Main Street. Yeah, it's a good Main Street. Here's how I would categorize them 10 years ago. Loser. Okay? Loser. But guess what? If a dysfunctional place like Lowndes County can go from a loser to a winner, it's doable. It's documentable, doable. So what we're going to do is walk you through a little bit of the kind of things for you to know about kind of how we got here. In 10 years, these are the projects, the high-profile projects that we've been able to locate. 2 certified mega sites, big Baldor project, Pat Carr's Severstall, Keyor, big warehousing project, obviously Yokohama's later. Here's what I want to tell you. Every day things happen. Every day things happen that decisions are made, and some they're good decisions or bad decisions or no decision, and guess what? 5 or 10 years later, it can matter. It can matter. Probably the thing that you need to know the most up there, you see that McAllen Sweeney Certified Mega Site little logo up there? That is probably the defining moment that changed Lowndes County and arguably the Golden Triangle for forever. For forever. We competed for a certified mega site and won. And won. With the first certified mega site TVA. Then we competed for a second mega site and won. There's 8 certified mega sites, and they, one of them was decertified, John, is that right? Somewhere, Patty?
Yeah.
7, 6 of them were occupied, 2 of them are in Lowndes County. But not the certified mega site made us a winner. What made us a winner was when Severstal came in on the first certified mega site. That's what made us a winner. Started giving us resources, started giving us some money to be able to do some more things. Okay? Again, I know with my peers, I'm not showing you this. I'm not showing you this so you go, oh, he's bragging. I want you to understand that if you're not taking hits, if you're not taking swings at the plate, you can't win. You cannot win if you don't take some cuts. We won $4.5 billion, and that books the Yokohama project at $300 million. It's estimated to be $1.2 billion. So it could be a lot bigger number. But look at the deals we've lost. And we're not talking about we got a call from Greg Word saying, hey, are you interested in this? We're not saying we submitted a proposal. Those $10 billion worth of projects that we lost came to our office, sat down with us, met with us, we took them to dinner, we made proposals. $10 billion of deals we've lost. We won 4. Hey, you join us, brother. We won 4, lost 10. Probably more important is, of that $10 billion that we lost, 25% are deals we said, you know, you can build this project anywhere in the world you want to, just not here. 3 Carini projects and U.S. Steel account for about $2.5 billion of that $10 billion worth of projects. That's important because of this. Oh yeah, total jobs, 450, 300. That's kind of sort of important. Here, the reason I showed you that one deal I want to talk to you about it is, here's what we found out. And it might work for you and it might not work for you. And here's what I'm going to tell everybody to make sure you understand. Rumbar Shade, there's somebody stay here? Out in the hall? Okay. Here's the deal. Over the years, different people have heard the Tupelo story. You know, Vaughn Grissom telling the Tupelo story. Here's how we did it. And people from near and far, multiple states, go over there to see the Tupelo story and how they did it. Well, fact of the matter is, folks, I don't think you can go replicate what somebody else did in your town. I think you got to figure out what works for you. And here's what the reason I tell you that is, here's what we're seeing. Here's what we're seeing. We keep up with our wins and our loses, and here's what we know. When we're competing for investment, we do very well. Big projects, we do very well. Why? We've got big sites, we've got big land, we've got big sewer, we've got big electricity. Okay? And I know there's 3 electric providers, and I love y'all, but TVA is mine. Okay? The other night we were in a meeting, they said, one of the interested guys said, well, hey, we got a better rate. I said, just as important as rate is capacity. Just as important as rate is capacity. So, we've got big capacity. And what that means is, big projects that come and look, we tend to do better with. We're batting about 442 on investment. On jobs, those that are just job driven, we're batting about 241. So we're not nearly as good at recruiting industry when it's just sheer jobs. But you bring a big deal in, that's kind of our wheel horse because of the infrastructure, the big sites, the land that's been acquired over the years. Now, wanted to give you that background, but I know it's supposed to be about Yokohama, but you can't do Yokohama unless you talk about developing the Prairie Belt Power Site. So, what I want to run through here very quickly is a timeline of where we are now versus where we started. October of 11, West Point came to us, and it's hard to read back here, guys, I'm sorry, came to us and said, hey, we'd like to join the organization. Would y'all do that? In November, our guys made a presentation to them. Said, yep, we'll do it. Here's the terms and conditions. January, we got a verbal. April, we signed the contract. Now, what else do we do in April? Well, that was Super Bulldog weekend. We had TVA and MDA in, what we call our opinion leaders. Chandler Rose calls it your brain trust. We brought them in and we took them out to a site and said, look, here's a site we think we'd like to develop. We want you to pick it apart, tell us what we're good, tell us what's good, tell us what's bad about it. And they did. We all came to consensus that it was kind of a very special site. Bill Adams, who was the father of the mega site program, said, I don't think, how did we miss this site? He said, this is a very, very special site. In May, we applied for some money from a 10-time Water Valley Management District to do all the due diligence, all the dead endings, all the bug and bunnies, geotechnicals, surveys, all the junk you gotta do that if you don't do, you're lying to yourself and you're screwing yourself, okay? In October, we unveiled the Prairie Belt Power Site and started preparing the marketing materials. Now, some of you may have seen this and some of you may not have seen this. This is the site. 1,121 acres. 1,121 acres was the site identified, and to sell it to the world, we produced this video.
The search is global. The potential for reward is great. And now, all signs point to the southeastern U.S., to a strategically central location in the North Mississippi region known as Black Prairie for its rich, fertile soil, where today an industrial opportunity of unprecedented size and power is taking shape in the Prairie Belt Power Site. Located in northern Clay County near West Point, Mississippi, Prairie Belt Power Site means top global speed. Multimodal access includes highway, air, and rail connections directly linking to Mexico's markets and materials, plus shipping on the Port of Clay on the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway only 8 miles away, providing deep water access to the Gulf of Mexico. Move faster, go farther with a right-to-work, ready-to-work labor force that's propelled this region to leadership in aerospace, automotive, and steel manufacturing. Your team works smarter with advanced training programs and cutting-edge R&D at major universities. Productivity is also enhanced through collaboration fostered at the Prairie Belt Power Site, where large acreage allows flexibility in footprint. The campus design, for example, can provide the collaborative and testing spaces key to generating the innovation and quality that market leadership demands. Generate big ideas with the massive power of an adjacent substation, twin 500 kV transmission lines, and one 161 kV line, a direct connection to a major TVA power plant, and a large natural gas extension available. Few megasites can match such abundant, reliable energy, nor can they equal Prairie Belt's water infrastructure, an existing 7 million gallon supply and 2 million gallon sewage capacity, both ready for expansion. Break ground quickly with field work completed, easy permitting, and perimeter parcels available. Functionality that rises to every need means breakthrough performance from day one. Prairie Belt frees you to expand horizons and to accelerate with power as you navigate and dominate non-stop global markets. All roads lead here. Prairie Belt Power Site. Your opportunity begins now.
What did we learn with the TVA Mega Site program, with the Lowndes County Mega Site, the Crossroads Mega Site, PACCAR, Silverstall coming in? Guys, we learned something that you old heads, older than me, have been knowing since the 50s and the 60s. You know, you gotta have a site, you gotta have water, you gotta have sewer, you gotta have all your stuff done. It's better if it's there. If it's not there, you at least going to know where it's going to go. Okay? It will separate you from the rest of the pack. Now, let's talk about all this stuff folded in triathlon. So, October of 11, we have an epiphany that we're going to work with West Point. We start working on contracts, conceptuals, hires. That's when Ron came on board, all that stuff. But really, by the time Ron got there the following fall, the movie was produced. All the work had been done, and we had already started marketing this site worldwide. Let's look at another timeline. Okay? We unveiled this. We unveiled this to the world in October, I think it was. October. November, we got an RFI from MDA on triathlon. We unveiled the site to the world, and believe it or not, we started getting companies coming to look at that site instantaneously. We had 13 companies making multiple site visits to that site within weeks of it being unveiled. Within weeks of it being unveiled. Because, like the movie said, up to 450 megawatts of electrical capacity, 7.5 million gallons of water capacity laying on the ground ready to use, and 2.5 million gallons of sewer capacity. That's a deal changer. That's a deal changer. Most places don't have that. If you don't know and you're trying to figure out what that's worth, figure $5 to $7 a gallon on the sewer, and figure 36 to 48 months to build it. Okay? So you got 2.5 million laying on the ground, you're in the catbird seat versus the field. Okay? So that's why 13 people started looking at it. I don't have any more information than y'all do. I'll tell you what's on the screen. Okay? We know on the RFI, we know it went out that they desktop modeled over 3,000 counties in the South. Okay? MDA has not disclosed this with us, so this is Joe's gossip. About 26 places were evaluated in Mississippi. I hear about 19 of them submitted. Don't know if that's true. 6 of them were visited. I kind of sort of know that number. 6 of them were visited on that process. So we were not the only one in Mississippi that was playing for that project. We got our first visit from them on December 11th. Emily, is Em here? She's here? There she is, way back in the back. Emily called us and they're going to be there. They want a presentation from you. They want to see the site, and you got an hour. Y'all know that drill? You know, first of all, I said, bull. Bull. And she said, no, that's it. And got to get them out in an hour. All right, so we get our first visit. It lasts an hour. It literally lasts an hour. We're at NMIDA for 30 minutes, 35 minutes. We got a clock on it. We get in the car. We set land speed records. We go out to the site. Emily said they want to go on the site. It was raining. It was cold. The wind was blowing sideways. I was wearing my Eddie Bauer parka. I looked like the little blue Michelin man. Okay? I'm hot-natured, as you can very well tell, and I was freezing my ass off. Okay? That's one for the poll. All right, so they literally came and left in an hour. But what we saw was the level of questioning that they asked was above and beyond. I mean, Giovanna and Tara were asking the questions, and they weren't your run-of-the-mill questions. They weren't about, do you have good schools and churches? You know, what's it like in the quality of life here in West Point? It was absolute rubber meets the road, product, cost, building, problems to building, issues that might keep them from succeeding. They came and they left in an hour in December 11th. In January, You got Christmas in there, guys. Let's not forget Christmas, okay? You got Christmas in there. In January, they made 2 more site visits. A little bit more people, a little bit more Deloitte people, and a company guy, okay? Now, some of this is a game inside the game, just for you to know, okay? We knew the second visit who the company was, okay? How did we know? It's interactive. Y'all hear? How did we know, Gerald? How do we know who the company was? Emily tell us?
Good intelligence.
Good intelligence. Emily didn't know, did you, Emily? Okay? Here's what I want to just make sure everybody understands. They told us they were a tire manufacturer. They were in the tire industry. That's what they told us, right, Em? That's right. Tire industry. Okay? We put our intelligence work on it, and by the afternoon that they came, we knew who it was. Jeremy came, and he was in the tire industry. Jeremy's on LinkedIn. Jeremy's last name is Cars. He is the OEM vice president for Yokohama Tire Company. We knew who we were playing with starting in January, okay? In February, we had additional site visits. We then went to Asia. John Henry, Brent, Rondo, Jamie, and I went to Asia. We knew at that point that we had to be on their short list because this was a trip that they were courting us just as much as we were courting them. They wanted us to see their new state-of-the-art plant in the Philippines. They wanted us to meet their chairman. They wanted us to see all about them, and they gave us their Grand Design 100 vision and everything that makes up their company. All of a sudden, it turned into they were recruiting us. But let's make no mistake, they were also recruiting 2 other communities. You see, they did the same thing that PACCAR did. They kept 3 communities in the running for this project all the way through MOU. All the way through MOU. What's the reason for that? Well, sometimes we offer stuff we can't deliver. Sometimes we promise stuff that can't be done. So guess what? It was set up that if you don't deliver or can't do what you say you're going to do, they would kick you to the curb and do the next town. So we knew at that point that we were one of 3 communities. We went to Asia. Now, those of you know, some of you will hop on an airplane at a heartbeat. Some of you will wear a set of casings on a car out over a year. You just like to go, okay? You just like to go. I don't. We left on February 14th, and we went, that's Valentine's Day, we went to Asia for a week. We went to Asia for a week, Thursday through Thursday. When we got there, it was elbows and assholes. There's 2. Okay? And when I say that, we found out that when we left on Thursday, that our BAFO was due the following Thursday. We're in Asia for a week, 13, 14-hour time difference, and our BAFO is due at 5 o'clock the day we're scheduled to land in Atlanta at 3 o'clock. Okay? Raise your hand if you know what a BAFO is. Best and final offer. Going once, going twice, give me your best deal. I want to see it now. Our Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace proposal was due the week that we were in Asia. What did we do? Every morning we went to Brent's room. And by the way, just so y'all know, little neat, all his shoes are set in one place. All of them. Okay? I felt like I was in Command Central. He's got his personal iPad. He's got his work iPad. He's got them both up there and he's multitasking. I said, hell, I can't type on one with 2 hands. You can type on 2 with 1 hand. He was working the deal. Every morning we would have a call with our folks here. And when we started our day and they were into their day, we were trading data back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We would work it, send it to them. They would work it, send it back. So as it turned out, we were able to meet that BAFO deadline of the Thursday that we got back. Now, also on that trip, we found out that we were going to host the chairman of the board the Monday after we got back on Thursday. Now, we're not talking about a guy, we're talking about the chairman of the board. We're talking about the #1 person with the company. So as soon as we landed, we worked all weekend getting the details. MDA, TVA, the link, all piled in, we got the details worked out. Now, guys, I'm gonna tell you some fun stuff to know here. There's a whole lot of little tidbits. Well, how did we get the product? I don't know. I don't know if it was Brenda's system, we put Yokohama tires on there. I don't know if it was those little warm napkin or a little warm washcloths we gave them. I don't know if it's them damn galoshes you bought, Christmas. Okay? That was their size, with their little name on them, and in little Tupperware containers, and so that they wouldn't get their $3,000 shoes muddy when they walked out on that side. Okay? Maybe the little things. Here's what I do know. They told us we had 4 hours to show them the triangle. They want to see Starkville, they want to see Columbus, they want to see West Point, they want to see the site, they want to visit Mississippi State, they want to meet with the governor, and we got 4 hours to do it. Okay? It's damn near impossible, guys. So we did what we always do. We said, we'll get TVA's helicopter, we'll get another couple of helicopters, we'll fly them around, we'll do it by the air, we'll stop places, and we'll be able to do some good. Well, guess what? They said Chairman wouldn't fly in that little helicopter. Chairman wouldn't fly in that little helicopter. A 5-passenger helicopter Bell that most of you and I would fly in every day or have, okay, wouldn't fly in. So what happened? We made a decision, we were going to rent a helicopter, a big executive helicopter, and fly him around. Anybody want to guess what that cost for a day? $27,000. Okay, well, you got the chairman of Yokohama Rubber Company coming in. He wants to see all that stuff. It's damn near impossible for him to do it. It's absolutely certifiable impossible for him to do his schedule if you don't. So we said, we'll get this helicopter. The problem is, the Sunday before we came in on Monday, we were forecast to have rain, all this kind of junk, and we didn't know what to do. It was a damned if you do, damned if you don't deal. We could spend the money, buy the helicopter, and never take off, or we could not have the helicopter there, and in our minds, probably lose the project. So we bought the helicopter, we got it up there. Guess what? Weather turned out being glorious. Now, leading up to that, another kind of important deal. Our intent was to land that helicopter on the site. Have a little tent there made, you know, little green tea, little storyboards in there. I'm not lying to you, okay? Little things, you know what I'm talking about, those little wash racks. We're going to do all that. Our engineer said, I'm afraid if you try to land that 11,000-pound helicopter on that site, it will sink up to its landing gears, and it might turn over, and it might kill the chairman. Our engineer said, I don't think that'd be good. Okay? So now we got a $27,000 helicopter we got coming. We don't know where we're going to land this thing. We come up with ideas, put these big metal slabs, Jason, like y'all use in the construction business. Couldn't get any last minute. People had them, but they were being used. So what did we do? Somebody came up with the idea, well, let's land out in the road. We'll just land out in that paved county road, and that's how we'll do it. Well, there's only one problem. Again, our engineer said, well, that's a big helicopter. There's a power line right next door to that, right next to that road. I'm afraid if it clips that power line, it might crash. And I said, I know, kill the chairman. He said, that's right. So we were really wrestling with what would we do? What do we do? Our EPA guy, Joe Kane, said, well, you want me to take it down? I said, what? He said, you want me to take it down? I said, you can do that? He said, we're the power company. We can do whatever we want to do. Good point. I said, what about them people? He said, oh, they won't care to be without electricity for a day or two. All right, go for it. Really, we didn't put anybody out of power. And if we did, I think we put them up at Old Waverly for the night and gave them a meal voucher, okay? He went out there on Saturday, he took the power line down, and then we said, what about the golfers? How many of y'all got a bunch of rednecks in y'all's town that anytime anything's going, they'll be out there looking stupid trying to find out what's going on? Anybody? Show of hands. 2 people in a room, okay. Well, West Point's got a bunch of golfers. You get a big helicopter like that land, somebody's going to be out there trying to figure out what's going on. We didn't want to call the sheriff, we figured scanner talk, you know, these people listen to scanner talk. Okay? Drew knows that. You probably know that. But we knew people would be listening to scanner, so how do we keep people off this site? We're going to land on this road. Once again, Joe Cade, my power guy, said, hey, I got an idea. We'll just bring 2 big bucket trucks, we'll drive them across the road, we'll block the road, we'll put up signs that says road closed, utility worker. I said, you can do that? He said, well, it's true. I said, well, I guess it is. So we did. Chairman came in, got a look-see, got a ride around, fly, landed on the site, got in a Polaris, rolled around, got back on the helicopter, went over to MSU, met with the governor, senators, representatives, or 2 senators. I mean, all of a sudden, man, it's going our way. Okay, but I'm gonna back up real quick. At this point in the project, we figured, to be honest with you, that we had to separate ourselves from the other guys. And we didn't know if we could do it on population, on labor shed, on water, on sewer, on site. You know, we figured that if there were 3 towns still left in this thing, they were all 3 pretty good. They're all 3 pretty good. So here's what we said. In the tent with the chairman, we told the Sara Lee story. Why do that? Yeah, we told the Sara Lee story. Okay? Most of y'all know West Point's not done very well over the last several years, right? Do you know? Because you're from different places. Do you know? Over the last 6 years, and I ain't picking on my Delta friends, but I'm going to pick on my Delta friends. Most of us in the room, if we ask where's the highest unemployment county in the state, most all of us would intuitively say it's somewhere in the Delta, right? No? Nobody agrees with that? Yes, Lynn does. She lives there. Guess what? That's somewhat true. But at the time we were working this project, if you ran a 6-year average, Clay County, Mississippi, West Point had the highest unemployment percentage of any county in the state of Mississippi. How many of you knew that? Yeah, the MDA guys and a few others. That's it. Okay, almost 20%. See, they lost Sara Lee, they lost Artec, they lost Flexible Flower, they've now lost Navistar. I mean, guys, you talk about a town. West Point may be the toughest town in Mississippi, okay? Because they can take a big punch to the face, a big punch to the guts, and they were still standing. 20% unemployment, okay? Well, when we had the chairman in that tent, I said, sir, 4 generations of Mississippians worked at Sara Lee. You've got a dedicated workforce here that wants to make product, that wants to make a difference. This community's heart was cut out when Sara Lee left. When Sara Lee left, their heart was cut out. Your project can bring hope to this community. Your project can be the phoenix coming up from the ash. Now, guys, he sat there with his suit on, and he looked at me with his gray hair and his regal look, and he said, I want to see this Sara Lee. So when we left that helicopter, we flew him around that partially demolished plant a couple of times, and he nodded. I'm not telling you that won us the deal, but I'm telling you that I think that made a big difference. I think they figured out pretty quickly, number 1, that they had a dedicated workforce, number 2, that it was a community that would support them, and number 3, it was a place that they could make a difference. Because what we found out in Asia, from the Clark Development Corporation guy, he said Yokohama is a company that has a heart and a conscience. Think about that. Right. In March, numerous trips, Chicago, Atlanta, and for every trip, there was probably at least 5 or 6 conference calls and a whole lot of data that had to be collected. Whole lot of data. And let's give you an example of what the data looked like on the entirety of this project. Chelsea, what you got there? What is that? Front page. That's our first, that's our environmental. Stand up so that's it. Okay? Then we got what here? Executive housing and additional data call amounts. That's your environmental, that's our proposal. So every time we had a phone call in this process, there was more information that had to be collected. Total data calls all the time. We went to Chicago, we went to Atlanta, we started working on the MOU. Now remember, the other 2 towns were working on the MOU. So we were working, they were working. you know, they would call with an issue, we had to think, wonder if the other communities requiring this, what if the other communities doing this, okay? Another person on our team that I failed to recognize, Chris Pace, with Jones Walker, worked with us, MDA team, and at that time, started being the company, working on language in that MOU. That took probably as much time to work on that as it did to do some of these other things. In April, the company executives came to Jackson, went to the governor's mansion, had dinner, said we'll come to Mississippi. Okay? Now, let's think about this. These guys walked in the door on December the 11th. Walked in the door on December the 11th, and I'm going to tell you now, in about middle of April, this deal was done. This deal was done. Those of you that have been in the business for a while, I think you'll agree with me, that's virtually unheard of. That is virtually unheard of. Lynn, what are you working? A year? 18 months? Something like that? You know, unless you're working a printing project, it'll be 36 or 48. By the way, I never miss a chance to kick him in there. Okay? Give me a scotch and I'll tell you more. All right, but the important takeaway here is, you need to understand this. December to April, the deal was done. Now, organizationally, it created a lot of problems for the land. A lot of problems. We've got about a $2.5 million budget. Okay, that's our budget with the three counties combined. It created a lot of problems for us though, because usually a project that takes 12 to 18 months may scan 2 or maybe 3 FYs in our organization, right? You might work on it a couple of years, you can spread that cost. Well, we had all this cost shrunk into 4 months that happened to all be in the same FY. So it created a lot of problems for us, but we did it, okay? We had a special session, and then we signed and entered the MOUs at the Ritz, and the deal was done. Now, this is a map showing where they're going to go. They're going to be the big buildings. They're going to be the big, I gotta get closer. They're going to be the big buildings on the right-hand side of the screen. These 4 buildings. This was the working drawings that we submitted to them. Ironically, this is the conceptual drawings that we started with when TBA, Jason Brake, did our work when we first started developing this site. This is dated, this changed 2 days ago. This generally, conceptually shows what the plant looks like. But 4 buildings, they're not all the same size, but 4 buildings, now they're all side by side instead of stacked, but that's what we were working on when we worked through the project. Guys, when you do a deal like this, you've got to help them. You've got to help them see themselves at your place. When we were in Asia, Jamie and I started talking about some ideas we had to do stuff. We went to Google, we took some pictures while we were in the Philippines of what we were seeing. We went to Google, we went to various places and got some of their plants, real plants. And then we put these on what I call storyboards. This is very similar to what the plant will look like. Now, again, hitting that emotional side, I'll tell you how this happened. About 7 or 8 Asahi beers sitting in the Tokyo Westin lobby. Jamie Kennedy and I started pecking out an idea with Jason Brake. We want to touch them. We want to get emotional. We want to show them just what kind of a beautiful place this could be. I was throwing it out there and Jamie was typing, and we sent it to him late one afternoon in Tokyo, right? About the time we got back, we ended up with this. Now, this doesn't do it justice, but in that tent with Chairman Nagamo, and those storyboards, high res, high gloss, it was breathtaking. You got people, well, you can't see it at the back, you got people walking on that track, you got benches there, you got the sun, and you see in the background the silhouette of that plane. The silhouette of that plane. Guys, this beats the heck out of a hand-drawn map stuck in a 3-ring binder and given to a prospect. Okay? Whoops. Then we had the signing at the Ritz. I've been doing this 25 years. 25 years. I have been a part of teams that have located some 12,000 jobs in 25 years. This is the most emotional, rewarding announcement that I have ever attended. Okay? Not because all of the main players, state and federal, were there. That's not why. But because here's a community that in every sense could have probably given up, lost hope, and said, screw it, I'm done. Okay? They could have said, that's it, we give. They didn't. That room was as full of electricity as I think I have ever been a part of. And if you'll look at Mr. Noji's picture in the upper right-hand corner there, I think you sense it from him too. You know, I'm not one of those culturally sensitive kind of guys, okay? Most of you know me. I drink, I smoke cigars, I drive fast, I cuss, okay? And if I were skinnier and didn't have a wife, I'd be the full package, okay? But right then, I started sort of getting it. These guys are making more than a lifelong commitment to a community. When they come, and when these Japanese companies pick you, it is for forever. It is for forever. When we were at the governor's mansion, in a group, Brent, Jim MacArthur, my chairman, me, and them, and the consultants, when we asked why, because everybody says, why did you pick them? There's no one why you picked them. Y'all know that, right? It's not one deal. Maybe one deal loses it for you, never one deal probably gets it for you. Mr. Hamaya told us that this site, this location, felt right in his skin. Yeah, Lynn, that got your attention, didn't it? Have you ever in your lifetime heard that phraseology? Anybody? Right in my heart? Right in my head? Felt it in my skin? I mean, right now I'm turned on here now. That is, I'm telling you, that was something. But the joy that we saw, the relief that we saw, the everything, all the emotions you can, and most of you have been in an announcement, this one was different in a whole lot of ways. Okay? Tell you a funny story. One of the guys that we worked with the whole project named Tex Maricami. Kind of funny, they call him Tex, but he's not very big. Okay? They were in the holding room at the Ritz. There's a porthole through the door. Kim, you know what it looks like. Where'd you go, Kim? You're around there somewhere. There you are. And Tex looked out that porthole, and he started seeing people coming in with posters. And he looked at me and said, protest? I said, no, Tex. It's not protest. They're here to welcome you. One of the most emotional parts of that announcement was when the kids from West Point School District showed up with their handmade posters welcoming Yokohama to their town that would change them back for good for probably forever. And they got up in the balcony, and those kids had more enthusiasm cheering for their town than I think I've ever seen. Okay? This was a very, very special deal. Okay. Oh, this is in here for fun. Okay? You know, everybody wants to get the picture taken now. You know all that, right? We do all the work, and they said, maybe I'll let me get the picture taken from the side. And that's okay. That's okay. But the fun part of this is, I'm going to pick one up, Brent. Where'd Brent go? I'm sorry, I wasn't that far now. I'm going to pick on you, Brent. We had 4 brand new Polarises after the announcement to go out there and let Mr. Noji, who'd never been on the site, see the site. We had, like everything, we had cards, who's does what. You drive, here's who rides with you, that kind of stuff. We had our little card that says Christensen on his Polaris. We start getting in the Polarises. I look over, he's riding bitch. He's in the passenger seat. You know who's driving? The governor. Move over. I'm driving. Kind of a fun deal. Nosy never been on. Nosy was in the vehicle with y'all, right? Nosy was in the vehicle with them. Nosy's never been on the side. Governor's never been on the side. Okay? All the rest of us have been on the side a lot. The lead vehicle is the governor. I don't know where we're going, but we're following him. Okay? The second fun part of this picture that you may not, where's Manning? I know Manning's here. Is Manning in the room? Where is he?
He's over here.
He's over here, okay. All right. The second part of the picture is, you see that guy riding on that? We brought that in especially for this. That little quail seat. I don't want to talk about your rednecks, because I don't want to talk about that quail seat. You know who that is up on top there? It's not Manning. Y'all remember when Roger Wicker got that ricin letter? Y'all remember that? Remember when they gave him that Secret Service attaché? They had to go. Did any of y'all see him during that time? Had that little guy going with him. That guy that's riding up there in that crow's nest deal is a Secret Service guy. He's got his earphone on. He's got that microphone. He's like this right here. And I think it made him nervous as he could be. Riding in that open field out there in the middle of nowhere, not knowing where the heck we were going. But that's kind of fun. And there's a picture of them leaving. There's a picture of them coming back, and they're both pretty epic, kind of what's going on. All right. Let's talk about this deal. Okay. All the fun stories are better told around a glass, or preferably a bottle of scotch, okay, or beer and a cigar. But it's important that you kind of sort of see some of this stuff. And I'm not saying this is the message from the team. I'm saying this is the world as Joe sees it. There's statutory incentives or discretionary incentives. You know, this is kind of sort of some of the costs that you need to know. You know, let's make no mistake. We can't do these, none of us can do these super projects if your DA and the governor's office and the legislature doesn't let us do them. You know that, right? It's the biggest number. It doesn't happen. But just as equally as important is if in local communities, you got to be willing to write a check. Okay? Because don't be standing in line thinking they're handing out government cheese and you're going to get you some. Okay? If you want to get the big bucks, you better write a big check. So the locals put $15 million in this project. We're talking about a small place here, guys. We're talking about a small place. $15 million. State funds, about 93. Other partners, that's ARC and TBA. But the biggest number up there is the smallest number. $250,000. That was our out-of-pocket cost that we spent in that 4-month period of time recruiting this project. You see, you know it, but you can't succeed in this business if you don't have money. Money to do deals and money to chase deals. We spent $250,000, and guess what? If we'd have lost this project, we'd have spent $250,000. We happened to have won it, but we spent $250,000, and it's a host of stuff. You know, it's legal fees, it's helicopters, it's catering, it's a gamut of things. It's 2 $10,000 tickets at the last minute to go to Tokyo. It wasn't none of this 30-day notice, was it, Brent? You know, 3-day, 4-day notice you're going to Tokyo or Philippines. I mean, those are real costs. Now, that's what we pay. That's not what NDA paid. It's not what TBA paid. That's what we pay. So this is an expensive business, but that's kind of, by the numbers, what it looks like. Kind of total for that phase 1. Now, a lot of people wonder what this deal is. This is a 4-phase project. Okay? And if you can think of, it's going to be a 10-year build. They'll stick a shovel in the ground. It'll take about 18 months, 2 years to build it. They'll staff it. They'll stick a shovel in the ground, and they'll repeat the process 4 times. Different products, different size buildings, But basically, 4 buildings, that is, if you want the truth to be known, that $300 million is a conservative number. That's what's in the public document, $300 million per phase, 4 phases. $1.2 billion. Billion, isn't boy. 2,000 jobs, 500 jobs each phase. It's kind of sort of easy. I told my guys in Columbus yesterday, just think of this as 4 pack cars. Pack car costs $300 million to build, it's up to 5 now, but $300 million to build and 500 jobs. Hey, thanks. You can have this okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Love you. Site size. Site's about 570 acres. We have purchased more land than that because we think we've got suppliers, vendors, processors, people that want to be beside them, but they're going to set this thing on a 570 acre footprint. Let's do this. Yeah. Now, real quick, kind of walk you through. When this project started looking, they called and said, we want to go to Starkville, Mississippi. We want a shovel-ready 240 acre site. We need 9 megawatts of power. We need 500,000 gallons of water, 500,000 gallons of sewer, and that's where we want to go. We didn't have a shovel-ready site at Starkville. They didn't have the power at the site that might have worked. We were dead. We called MDA. MDA called the consultant and said, look, let the Triangle submit a site. Starkville doesn't have one, but they think they've got one in one of the other 2 counties. So, we brought Brenda in, we brought Ronnie in. I said, let's go over this RFI. 240 acre site. They both said, got it. 500,000 gallons of water, got it. Rail, got it. We went through everything and got it. When we got to the sewer, Brenda said, got it? And I said, no, you don't. You don't have 500,000 gallons of sewer. You don't have it. Because you've got it mortgaged to Carini's silicon metal plant right now. You can't mortgage 500,000 gallons of capacity for 2 projects. What if they both pick you? So because it takes 36 to 48 months to replicate that. So we picked West Point by default. 9 megawatts, 500,000 gallons of water, 500,000 gallons of sewer, rail, 240 acre site. As the project grew, the West Point selection became, almost like the best thing we could have ever done. The power wasn't 9 megawatts, it was 45 megawatts. The water and sewer ballooned from 500,000 gallons to 1.8 million gallons a day of each. Remember, because Sara Lee had closed. They had 2.5 million gallons of surplus capacity laying on the ground ready to use. They had 7.5 million gallons of water capacity ready to use. Said another way, he let the state and/or locals throw more money at reducing the cost to the company, buying the deal by reducing the cost of the company in things that would have normally been companies' CapEx, because we didn't have to use a whole lot of grant or loan money to upgrade water and sewer production capacity. Building footprint. At full build out, this will be 5 million square feet. Now let's put a face on this. That's Severstal, that's Toyota, that's PACCAR, and that's Eurocopter all on one site. Did you get that? Okay, Shane said another way, that's 2.5 thereabouts Toyotas on one site. Okay, one site, 5 million square feet. We always get asked the question, more local than y'all, when are they going to start hiring? When are they going to start hiring? You know, I need a job. Well, fact of the matter is, these big projects take a while. We think, based on everything we're working on right now, they will be ready for testing in the 4th quarter of 2014. 4th quarter of 2014, they'll be testing their boilers, equipment in, they'll be testing, and we think that they'll be hiring, start of production, 2nd quarter of 15. 2nd quarter of 15. And remember, this is a gift that we think is going to keep on giving. 500, 500, 500. The only way we don't get that is if their market share goes to heck in a handbasket, and it's not looking like it is right now. And also, it's our responsibility to provide them with a quality workforce that makes them competitive in a worldwide market. I think if we do those 2 things, we're there. And guess what? Those are not things that are different from any other project we work. Again, what the plant looks like, phase one. Questions and answers? Okay?
Yeah, I think Danielle, you can go.
Mr. Ranger, you have a question on the room?
Did you ever find out who the other two communities were?
Yeah, yeah. I know exactly who the other two communities are. You don't do that. You don't do that. Let me tell y'all something. Where's Shane Holman? I know he's up there somewhere because I saw him. Stand up, Shane. Stand up. Stand up. Those of you that don't know need to know, okay? This business, if you're not pretty good at espionage, is this a fair statement, Shane?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I'm not going to incriminate you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, okay? But there's a good amount of reconnaissance that has to take place, okay? If, you sit down. I wasn't going to tell that, never mind. Shane's the one that told me that FTPs don't have firewalls. Anyway, no, we knew exactly who our competition was. You've got to know who your competition is. Not only do we know who our competition was, we tracked the airplanes that they were using. We knew when they took off, when they landed. We read their newspapers. We read their planning and zoning commission minutes. Everything. Everything. One town got cut because the interim city manager in a planning and zoning commission meeting said, we're working Project Triathlon, it's a tire plant, and it's 500 jobs in a planning commission meeting, okay? It was picked up and was in the newspaper. We know exactly who our competition was, and we had exact tabletop models of labor, commuting patterns, transportation, side by side, everything we wanted to know, we knew about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Joe, you didn't ask, and we were scared to death.
Yeah, hey, all right, so let me, yeah. Let me follow up on Brent's thing. We knew one town we were working, and we dropped the pin in them when we dropped the pin in West Point. And they were just as black, just as white, just as smart, just as dumb, just as rich, just as poor. You get the picture? We were the same. 10-mile drive, 20-mile drive, 30-mile drive, 45-mile drive time. We were absolutely identical, the same. At 60, we had 260,000 people. They had 2.6 million. We thought we were toast. We thought we were toast.
You mentioned that the water and sewer are important. Your site, how far did you have to run service to get to your site?
We're going to end up running, water's probably going to be a couple of miles, 2.5, 3 miles of transmission line. The production capacity is there. You can literally see the old West Point industrial park from this site. You can see the water tank, you can see some of the buildings. It's, as a crow flies, it's about 2.5 miles away, I guess. But now remember, how we found this site. I mean, the video didn't do it justice. TVA has a sub there. Y'all remember when Smithfield got hit by the tornado? We were out of power from around Louisville all the way up to almost Tupelo. But some of y'all remember that? Did you live there? The tornado walked through those transmission lines, correct, Jamie? Walked through the transmission lines that go from the nuclear power plant to this substation. This is the heartbeat of that part of North Mississippi. We started picking the site based on proximity to that. But we had to get away from the sub because gas lines, twin 500s, 161s, railroads were all kind of crowded, so we just had to keep going. We could have got closer, but we could have gotten the land closer. We went to find the best match where we got 3 to 5 acres of wetlands on that site. You got a 2,100 acre site that's damaged, 3.5 acres of wetlands. I mean, we spent a lot of time finding that perfect site. Running the water and the sewer to it, you're talking about $3.6 million total cost. $3.6 million. I think we got it before we used it. I'm sorry. I got you.
With with $300 million per phase, each phase of the project, and a projected hiring point, and maybe to 2015, 2016. When will the state, with that type of investment, see a break-even point in terms of the investment or make a profit?
I'm going to defer to Rick.
What's the study, 7 years?
Yeah.
The study showed 7 years. One of the things that when you have an MMEIA project, a project of this significance that you have to go to the legislature for, in special session for this type of thing, they require us, and where's Kathy? Kathy could probably speak to this as well. She may want to verify my numbers, which I think is a great idea. They require us to get an IHL economic impact study done, which will show when the break-even point is.
Okay, look, guys, I'm a changed man. You know, some of y'all remember when I came, Tim, okay, Christie, you know, basically my attitude was, I work for Lowndes County, I gotta tear every player's face off to win this deal. You're next door to me, I'll just tear your face off with the rest of them, okay? And that's the way it's gonna be. Well, the right, wrong, or indifferent for a lot of reasons, that model probably doesn't work anymore. Probably doesn't work anymore. This business costs so much money. You know, we sit down with West Point and we said, look, if you don't want to contract with us, that's fine. You don't want to contract with us, that's fine. We took them 2 proposals. One, you do it yourself right, and one, you do it with us. Either way, it's $350,000 a year. That's what they pay us, $350,000 a year. That's what, in Joe Higgins' opinion, in 25 years of this business, a decent project costs, a decent program costs to run. Now, if you're back there saying, well, my budget's not that, I got news for you, okay? You can't win. It'll be nickels and dimes and maybes and hopes. That's what it'll be. So what you may need to really start thinking about doing is going to the guy that lives next door to you that you physically cannot stand, okay? And say, man, we better start pulling our resources. We better start figuring it out, okay? Because if you don't, you won't. I'm just telling you that, you know, it costs money. You got to have staff. You got to have resources to go on the deals. Don't spend your money burning the casings off, going to ECMEC, GTEC, GOTEC, MITEC, every meeting that's out there that economic developers go to. Spend your money where you can get some bang for it. You don't have to have the site, but you better have an option. You better have it under control. You don't have to have the water and sewer, but you better know it. You know, a lot of times your engineers will work with you. They'll work with you to help you do it. But the fact of the matter is guys, I've been in this business 25 years. For 25 years, I've heard lies, okay? I've heard lies. It ain't fair. The legislators can't put projects where they want them to go. If it worked, the gap zone counties would be chock full of deals, okay? But go look, they're not. Okay, this is an expensive business where big boys and big girls put our big girls and big boy panties on and say it's going to cost a lot of money. Go ahead.
We got time for, what, one more quick question?
What do you think your greatest lesson learned from this project was, either you or with the team, and also with that, on your next deal, what do you think is something you might do differently?
Oh God, you know, a lot of lessons. You know, kind of a BS answer, but the little details matter. The little details matter. You know, we're working this deal and we're going to pick them up, we're going to do this, and Rick comes in and he says, okay, not one vehicle is going to pick these people up that doesn't have Yokohama tires on it. You get it? Everybody understand that? Period. Be honest with you, hey, shit, Junior, that's a little bit much, isn't it? Well, guess what? Guess what? We're the only community that did it. It's just like if you sell beepers, if you sell golf, whatever you do for a living, you notice. Every one of them got in those cars and looked. And they noticed. We didn't have to point it out. Little things, little things. One thing, you know, I've learned is we're all told these lies that well, this project's gonna decide in first Q of 12, this project's gonna try to decide first Q of 15, and then 2 years later it drags out. Deloitte, when they come in and say, we're gonna do this, that is the here's what I learned, that is the most professional economic development site selection firm in the world. I was so impressed, stem to stern, top to bottom, of the knowledge that those folks have, the professionalism. You know, you've got to remember, we just came off of, we did a big Karina project, we came off of some more great projects, we said go somewhere else. Not once in this project were we GD'd, MF'd, you sons of bitches, not once, Brent, were we? It was called on Sunday afternoon. You know, I hate to do this to you, but the client really needs this. And we understand it's demanding of you, but if you want to continue to compete, we're going to ask you to do. How can you get mad at that? How can you get mad at that? You know, coming in, they want to come in Super Bowl Sunday. You know, neat stuff. You learn a lot. You know, I don't know if there's an answer for that. You know, everybody always says, you know, when Toyota came, Shane will pick on you again. The one thing that everybody said, it was that circle, right? Manufacturing jobs in that circle. That's why we won the deal. I don't know why we won this deal. I don't. I just know that we put together the deal and we responded. I think probably our response in their timeline, getting stuff, turning data back to them, probably, if I learned anything, it's be prompt, get it to them. If they ask for it on Wednesday, get it to them on Tuesday.